Give you enough. The work that's gotten out there is really extraordinary, and I don't know if you know Photo District News. They just covered us and covered it, well, not us, but a story that somebody did in, who knows Photo District News? You should. You should if you're studying photography. It's sort of like the leading magazine, leading photo industry magazine, and PDN Online. And here's something else that's really cool that's happening with Salam Garage and social media. So there's this new platform called CrowdRise. And so somebody from the NGO, from the Indian NGO called Vatsalya, emailed us and said, we're trying to build this school. We have no idea how we're going to do it, but somehow we need to raise $40,000. And so some guy that went on a Salam Garage trip built this. He said it took like 2 hours or something to put this together. And you can see they're like halfway there. I don't even think this site had been up for a week or something like that. But he had the pictures. So instead of just a website that says we need help, Conrad actually got to take the pictures that he made in India and say, I know these people, and I know that the work that they're doing is good. And I know that it's actually going to help people. I was there. So these are just some things that people are doing with Salam Garage. And the other way, like this is really interesting too, when people go on the trips. Has anyone ever heard of Kickstarter in the room? It's another thing you ought to check out. Like if you're trying to raise money to do something, like people that go on Salam Garage trips always successfully raise money to go on a trip using Kickstarter. And the great thing about this is not only do you raise money to do what you're trying to do, you're already building kind of like this foundation where people are going to see your story. They're going to wonder, whatever happened to you that went on that story? And they're going to hear about Caxton, right? Because they actually have a vested interest in it. They're interested in what you're doing. So now we're also having exhibitions. We just had one in Seattle and Fremont. And then what's great is people show up and everybody, it's just great. And everybody learns. This is Agros, which is an NGO in Guatemala. Another one. We've had a lot. And then the press shows up and people talk. That's Conrad again. And something that's interesting that's happened as a result of Salam Garage is I keep getting asked to speak at these things. And so as much as I can, I try and talk about Caxton. This is Web 2.0, and then this TEDx. And now what also is very cool that's happening, anyone here ever hear of Blurb? Really? One person? Blurb is super cool. So Blurb is a way that you can publish your book online. It's blurb.com. And you don't have to have a publisher to publish a book anymore. Those days are over. Like book publishing had a Napster moment, and that's called Blurb, where like all you have to do now is go to Blurb, and there's a couple other ones, but I think Blurb's the best. And you publish your own books using Blurb's platform, and it's called print on demand, so that you don't have to have this big stack of inventory. And not only do you, when the old school way of publishing books is not only do you send out, I don't know how many book proposals, let's say 100 book proposals, and somebody finally publishes your book, then you have to deal with all this inventory. So it's not like they order, I don't know, hundreds or thousands or whatever it is at a time, and you have to like put those books somewhere. And so not only do you have to deal with those books, but some people have to rent storage space to put their books in. The publishers don't always hold them. So I have a couple of friends who publish books the old school way. You go to their house and you like have to move around their books because like, I don't know where else to put these. And so that's stuff that people don't think of when they get their book published. But what's great about Blurb is any one of you in this room can publish a book on Blurb, and it's called print on demand. And they're actually gorgeous, gorgeous quality. But I've got an example here. You can publish a book, and then you can people can pay for them on the internet, and it'll ship straight to you. So all of you can publish books now. You need to check out all of these websites, especially as budding photographers. But we were lucky enough, Blurb sponsored us, and now they make a book out of every one of our trips. This is our most recent one. And once again, like they're also using social media. So the stories of the NGOs, they end up on the Blurb website, and then people end up liking it, and then Caxton's story gets out even more. Oh, and that's the end of my talk. Kind of an abrupt ending. It's sort of wanted to show you where Salam Garage is now. We have a trip coming up to Peru, and there's 4 spots left if anyone's interested. This is the information. And I really wanted to leave a lot of time right now for question and answer and have it be informal, if that's at all possible, with you guys sitting there and me standing here. But thanks a lot for listening. And does anyone have any questions? Or you're supposed to clap first and then you, yeah. Thanks. Yes? The question is, how do we choose from the people who go on the trips? There's a sign-up thing on the website, and Salam Garage tends to attract the right person for the trip. Some people don't really get the concept because nobody else is doing this, and there have been a few people that we've talked out of going on the trips because they wanted more of the skim the surface experience. This was for one of our India trips, and we just talked them out of it and said, you know, this isn't the right trip. This is the kind of trips where you do what I call, or I don't call, but I've borrowed the term deep hanging out. Like you actually go and you spend time with the NGO, at least maybe a third or half of the trip with the NGO. And some people, they ditch the rest of the trip and they're like, can I just stay here the whole time with the NGO? And it's flexible. So I would say 95% of the time the people who come to Salam Garage are the right people for a trip. I mean, even the name, you know, is off-putting for some people because Salam is Arabic, so people are already like, what is this Arabic stuff, you know? And so it's not like happy trails, you know? It's more, so either off people are like, I don't get that, or that is so interesting that I want to find out more, you know? What? Any other questions? Yeah.
You mentioned Kickstarter as a way to fund a project.
Yep.
Do you have any other suggestions on how someone might go about doing that?
Yeah, so Kickstarter, actually I can just go back to that slide. Kickstarter is excellent. But here it is. So Kickstarter is a way to, as you can see, she like raised more than she had planned on. That's one way to do it. And some people, because they're photographers, we have kind of like a giveaway, right? We have a picture that we can give people. So what they do is they set it up on their own. You know, if you give this much money, then you get this. If you give this much money, then you get 8 by 10 or whatever, signed or framed. And people choose what they want to give their donors. There's a new one out that nobody's tried yet. They probably will for our upcoming trips. It's called Emphasis. And the IS is the extension. So however you spell emphasis is .is. Does that make sense? Like emphasis is. Does that make sense? I can't spell, so I'm not even going to, I don't want to try. But anyway, that's specifically for photo projects. So that's actually just came out like about a month ago or so. And so basically, I think it all goes through PayPal. So you just open up hopefully, has anyone not heard of PayPal? Should ask that more of that flip side. All right. So you create a PayPal account, which is free, and then you connect it to these fundraising platforms. And that's how it works. Yes?
And are these, I imagine this platform, Kickstarter, is fairly well regulated as far as, you know, I mean, how could you keep people out that are trying to use it for their own benefit, you know?
Well, I don't work for Kickstarter, so I don't know.
You know, if that's initially comes up, it just seems like a red flag. Sorts of online.
I mean, I can be a red flag. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, there's plenty of bad stuff happening all over the place. These are tools that are available. I'm sure there's people out there doing stuff that's ridiculous, but how do I monitor what they're doing? I don't. You know, I just focus on Salam Garage, and like that's the thing. But I'm sure it's happening. You know, but we could say that about anything at this point, unfortunately.
Remember, Amanda, in one of your talks that I had seen before this one, you talked about how even having like a party with your friends and extended friends, say, you know, I'm trying to go on a trip to tell this story, you know, real grassroots ways to save money,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting.
You've got a really good memory. It's true. And somebody gave me that idea a long time ago. I was going to do a project, and somebody said, "Here's $100." And I was like, "Thanks." And they said, "No, you have to give me a print." I was like, "Right, you're speaking code. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about." They're like, "Okay, pre-print sales." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Normally your prints go for $200, $300, whatever dollars in a gallery. Here's $100 for an unknown image. But it's going to help you build, your funds to go on the trip. So you get a discount because you don't know what the picture is going to be. So you get kind of a deal. But at the same time, you can raise money doing pre-print sales. You can even do it with digital photography, saying, hey, if you guys want to help support me go on a trip, it doesn't have to be Salon Garage, any kind of project you all are doing. I'm doing a print, basically we know that it'll be something from Ethiopia. I have no idea what I'm going to come back with, but if you want to help support me and help make it happen, I'm going to do a pre-print sale." And it was ridiculous. Like, I've had a lot of success with that. I'll be honest, like, I've taken, 911, I don't know if you guys know 911 Media, which is down in Seattle. I've taken grant writing classes, and I've gotten a lot of grants, and I'm lucky enough to get written into grants now. But you're better off just asking people for money, honestly. Like, it was so time consuming. And the good thing about grants is that you get one, right? And it's sort of like a great resume piece, like, I got some grants and, I'm so cool. But, if the goal is to make the trip happen, I've had actually way more success just out and out, like, asking people, and when the project isn't about you, when it's about somebody else or the greater good, people want to help. Like, people actually, not only do they want to help, people are looking for ways to help. Not everybody can do what you guys do with photography. A lot of people really dream about it, but they never actually have the opportunity to do it. So if you're going to actually do something, you're going to be able to tap into the stuff that they wish they could be doing. And that way everybody can collaborate and be a part of it. Yes?
A rather mundane question. Digital or film?
Myself?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's like to be or not to be. I'm all digital now. I showed a lot of film pictures, but I'm all digital. I don't think I've shot film since, I don't know, 97 or something? No, not 97, 07.
Why the change?
Well, I have this commercial career too, right? And so that's what happened with commercial photography. There was this sort of moment where people said, "Do you shoot digital?" That was sort of back in 06 or 07, where my clients, you heard some of who my clients are, they would say, "Do you shoot digital?" And now nobody even asks. Like, it's just, so I would say, why the change? I would say that the actual field drove that. The field of photography drove that itself. The technology is there. It's a done deal. Yes?
I understand kind of like your ideas of drive-by shooting.
Mhm.
After you spend time with these people in Jackson, for instance, do you ever go back? Like, does he feel like he exists now that you were able to take his picture and now it's on the cover of your book? Like, do you ever go back, or is it like?
It does. The question is, do I ever go back? Caxton has a copy of the book. The NGO has dissolved. They've stopped existing, so they're not there. So Caxton's going about his life. He's in school. His little sister, unfortunately, was raped when she went to